SportsInferno.com presents ZRadio with Mike Ackerman. I'm Corey Schrader. If you want to give us a call, 309-524-5558 is the number. And to start things off, of course, we're going to talk about the Iowa Hawkeyes and their football team, which was just announced. They hold their spot as the number 4 team in the college football playoffs, and which is kind of cool. The next 2 teams are Big Ten teams as well. Michigan State at 5, Ohio State at number 6. Those 2 are the first 2 teams out. So that sets up a huge game this Saturday between Iowa and Michigan State, which, in my eyes, and I'm sure with everybody else, is the play-in game for the playoffs.
It is. It's basically, if you're looking at this as a basketball perspective, this is the Elite Eight. Iowa's in the Elite Eight now. They're facing UNLV, and they're going for the Final Four.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. I know a lot of people out there are saying they would much rather play Michigan State. For me, honestly, I think I'd rather play Ohio State just because, in my opinion, Ohio State is more of... Now, granted, they had a heck of a game against Michigan, but in my eyes, I think they're one-dimensional.
They're like Nebraska. They can't throw the ball, or at least they do. They're going to throw it to the other team quite a bit because they just don't throw the ball very well.
Right, and I think that just plays in the hands of Iowa, which I believe has the most turnovers or have caused the most turnovers in the Big Ten this year. And that would play well in their hands. Whereas Michigan State is more balanced. You know, kind of like, they're Iowa. They're Iowa in green and white.
Right. They really are carbon copy teams.
State is Iowa and black and gold. They're the same.
You know what's kind of funny is you sit back, and I agree with you. I would rather be playing Ohio State than Michigan State because they are two-dimensional. But you sit back and you listen to some of the morons in the national media. They still have that blue blood mentality that it's the big 2 and the little 12 now, or 14 now, however many teams are in the Big Ten. They still think it's Michigan and Ohio State and then everybody else. I heard so many comments over the last few days from national media that Ohio State would kill Iowa. Why would Ohio State kill Iowa? And didn't Ohio State lost to Michigan State at Ohio State with Michigan State's backup quarterback playing? Why do you think Ohio State would kill Iowa and not Michigan State? That's disrespectful to Michigan State, the way I look at it. And Michigan State's been maybe one of the other than maybe Ohio State, but then you add in this year and a couple of these other years, Michigan State maybe is Michigan State's been the best team in the Big Ten for the last 5 years. I know Ohio State won the national championship last year. But if you look at a totality of the last 5 years, Michigan State's been the best team.
Yeah, since Connor Cook arrived on campus, I think he kind of helped propel them. And then, you could take it a step further because everybody likes to take it a step further. Ohio State lost to Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
For that, Michigan State lost to Nebraska at Nebraska. Iowa beat Nebraska at Nebraska.
Right.
So I don't get how you could say Ohio State would kill Iowa. I don't get how you would say Michigan State would kill Iowa.
Right.
I don't see how you could say Iowa will kill Michigan State.
I was going to say the same exact thing. I don't see that at all.
No. And here's the problem. And this is the gotcha moment of these national people. The gotcha moment is when Iowa or if Iowa loses. I told you so.
Oh, yeah.
I told you. They have tried for 12 straight games to get the I told you so. At some point, it's old.
Right.
Iowa's a good football team this year. They're 12-0 right now.
Right.
And they're in the Big Ten title. Okay, if they lose the Big Ten title, they're 12-1.
Right. Here's Here's what I'd like to know why people think, and I know it will happen this way because of exactly what we've been talking about. It's Ohio State. If Iowa were to lose a 1-point game to Michigan State, why does Ohio State get to automatically jump Iowa in the polls?
Right.
Who have they beaten? They beat Michigan at Michigan, and that's their only top 25 win.
Right.
That's
Against
it.
the ex-Iowa quarterback.
Yeah, against the quarterback we kicked to the curb.
Right.
That's their only top 25 win. And if Iowa loses a close game, that means they will have lost a close game to them on a neutral field, not at home, with their number one quarterback. And Iowa's got at least 2 top 25 wins on the road. So explain that to me, other than the fact that it's Ohio State.
I think no matter what, the loser of this Big Ten championship game, whether it's Iowa or Michigan State, should just automatically finish ahead of Ohio State.
Right.
Period. The end.
I agree.
Because and here's what concerns me about Ohio State at number 6. Let's say Iowa loses, and let's say Clemson loses. Ohio State and Michigan State will be in the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's what will tick me off.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
I will honestly say Iowa got robbed on that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
But the good thing for Iowa is they can shut everyone up, which they have since these rankings came out. We knew once Iowa was 6th and 5th, it was win out.
Right.
Control your own destiny.
Yes.
And if Iowa wins, it'll be an all-time snub if Iowa wins. Okay. They're in. They should not drop because they won undefeated and won a conference championship. They're in.
Right. Oh, if they win, there's no way around it. They're in.
Right. So that was everyone.
And in my opinion, they should jump Oklahoma and Alabama.
I agree. Because Iowa just went undefeated, beat a top 5 team, beat another ranked team, and 2 other ranked teams, and all of them were on the road or a neutral setting.
Right.
Not one at Kinnick Stadium.
Right.
So you take that, Iowa's in. Now, the other thing I think would become a cluster is, let's say Alabama loses to Florida, Clemson loses to North Carolina. Okay. Oklahoma has the luxury of not playing a championship game.
Yeah.
I think this is benefiting them right now.
It is, but also on the flip side of that, they played 3 top 15 teams in the last 3 weeks too.
Which, when you watch them all play out with each other, I think we're an overrated bunch.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Oklahoma State, overrated. Baylor, overrated. TCU, overrated.
Right.
And Oklahoma has a crap loss to Texas, who got shut out by Iowa State earlier in the year.
Right.
Who fired their coach with, a game or 2 left?
Yeah.
So, that's a horrible loss.
That's a bad loss.
So I think, look, Iowa's got to win Saturday. This is it. This is for all the marbles right now.
It's all sitting in front of them. Let's be honest. If they don't win, they're not going to be in. In fact, if they don't win and none of the other top 3 lose, well, we know Oklahoma's not going to lose. They won't even go to the Rose Bowl because Ohio State's going to overtake Iowa for the Rose Bowl, which sucks. I think that's BS.
I think so, too. I think the matchup will actually turn out to be Iowa and Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl.
That would be I would take that, though.
I would like that game. And honestly, sitting here, I think I would enjoy that matchup more than an Iowa-Stanford game.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I would love to see Iowa play Notre Dame.
So it ends up as a Fiesta Bowl. I'm fine. I'll bitch because they got
jobbed.
Because they got leapfrogged by Ohio State.
My only
But
problem,
I like that matchup.
my only problem with it is Iowa's like, for Arizona. Do they ever win in Arizona?
Right.
That's the only thing I don't like about it. But other than that, I'm good with that because you get a big Iowa following down there.
Mm-hmm.
A huge Iowa following down there.
Well, it'll be interesting to see who the Fairweather fans are around here because I see a lot of dual posts in this area of go Iowa, go Notre Dame. No.
Right.
Pick
one. Pick one. The other one you hate. Let's just leave it at that. Pick one. The other one you hate.
Right.
Well, and you know what? Let's look at the Iowa-Michigan State game because I think it's going to be a good close game. Some people, I think the idiot Paul Feinbaum today, Iowa won't beat them, but of course he said the same thing about Nebraska, as did that moron Colin Cowherd. No way they beat Nebraska. Blah blah blah. And I saw somebody put something on Facebook that said he admitted he was wrong. No, he didn't admit he was wrong. He said, well, they just don't make mistakes. Well, I don't care. Don't make a mistake and win then.
Right.
It's vanilla and it's boring. He doesn't particularly care. Okay, you don't like watching winning football? You don't like watching the San Antonio Spurs?
Yeah,
basketball?
He's not bashing. He's right. Exactly. The Hawkeyes are the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
The Hawkeyes are the Patriots.
Yeah.
They're boring. They are boring for a casual fan. For me, as a fan of football, I mean, I give it a sliver better than baseball in my eyes as my favorite sport. Just a sliver.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the 10-6 Wisconsin game as much as I enjoyed the 40-10 Northwestern game.
Right. I agree.
It comes down to up front. If you win up front, you're going to win. And this is what makes the matchup with Iowa and Michigan State intriguing because both teams are good up front on both sides of the football. Right. I can't decide who wins this game. Sure, the Iowa fan in me wants to shout to the high end and say, Iowa will kick their ass. No, they won't. They won't. I think we're going to get a heck of a game.
Yeah.
And I think the team that doesn't turn the ball over wins.
Right.
Is that the stat I'd be curious to look at? I think Iowa has caused more turnovers than Michigan State.
Right. No, I agree with you 100%. And when you start looking at the stats, I mean the teams are almost even in everything. And where one's a little bit stronger in one, the other makes up for it someplace else. Scoring offense. Iowa 31.6 a game, Michigan State 33.1 a game. Scoring defense. Iowa 19.1 a game, Michigan State 21 a game. So, I mean, they're almost exactly even in point differential. Almost exactly even. Total offense. Michigan State's 4th in the conference. Iowa's 5th in the conference. 413 to 386. But here's the thing where it's a little bit different. Is Iowa ran for 400 more yards. These are just conference statistics. Iowa ran for 400 more yards. Iowa actually averaged more yards per play than what Michigan State did. I bet you people are surprised to hear that. But then on the flip side of it, Michigan State is 4 in total defense, and Iowa is 6th. But again, you start looking at the stats, and there's a big difference in stats because Iowa hasn't been losing for a long time. Teams have to throw the ball against them. Almost, I mean, it's so many downs they have to throw the ball against them. Rushing offense, Iowa is fourth in the conference, 1,659 yards. Michigan State is sixth in the conference at 1,264. Rush defense, Michigan is fourth, Iowa is fifth. I mean, the difference, they both allow the same amount per average. Pass offense, Iowa's 13th in pass offense at 179 per game. Michigan State is second at 255. Now, here's the difference. Michigan State threw the ball 263 times. Iowa threw the ball 197. There's only half a yard difference in their average per pass. That's a massive difference.
Right.
I mean, and then in pass defense, Iowa is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Michigan State 7, Iowa's 9. Again, everybody had to throw the ball against Iowa because they were always losing.
Right.
Pass efficiency. When you start looking at pass efficiency, then Michigan State is third and Iowa is fifth. It's not much difference there. Pass efficiency defense, Iowa is third, and Michigan State Iowa's fourth, and Michigan State's eighth. Kickoff returns, Iowa's second, Michigan State is seventh. Punt returns, Iowa is sixth. Michigan State is second to last. That kind of surprises me. Interceptions, we already know where Iowa is interceptions-wise. Iowa's leading the conference. Michigan State is fourth. So there's so many things that they're just so close on, or one might be a little bit better. I would say the only place where Iowa, I'm guessing, has a big differential or a big deficiency is on the defensive line. Michigan State has 17 sacks. Iowa has 13, and we know how many times people have thrown against Iowa. So that they've had a ton of chances to sack, and they just don't get to the quarterback very well.
Well, yeah, I mean,
with Drew Lock on.
You got young guys, up front. You had a major injury with Ott, and but at the same time, the linebackers for Iowa have been huge,
mm-hmm.
and with King and his play, it's going to be. I don't know if I think Michigan State opened with a 4-point favorite in this game.
Yes.
I don't know how you could even put a favorite on this game.
Oh, I agree. And I think if people were looking at it objectively, they would also agree. But they're going to they can't sit there and say how great the Big Ten East is all year long and how bad the Big Ten West is, and then make it a pick 'em, which, that's not what Vegas is going to do anyways. Vegas is in there. They're going to put it in a point where they think they can win money. So that's where the bettors think it is. But I think some of that, again, is looking at the blue blood type of thing.
Right.
That's my opinion.
Well, and then you got to, so they not only take the average of who they think they'll make. One of the averages that they say who they think will make more money is the fans of the team that are betting.
Right.
And with the amount of Iowa fans that have moved out west, I was out there and I was shocked to see the betting line for the Chicago Bears when we were out there back in July, I think, the end of July when we went out there.
Right.
And the guy out there, part of the reason is we get a lot of people from Chicago. They'll just come out here and bet on the Bears. We can't say that the Bears totally suck, because if we do, that's a lot of people winning a lot of money.
Right.
That takes money out of the Vegas people's pocket. So,
right.
That's why those odds kind of shrink a little bit.
Exactly, as time goes by.
So, yeah, you can't. Now, if you would have if I was smart enough at the end of July and say, hey, I'll put $25 down says Iowa wins the Big Ten championship. I mean, I know their odds were crazy at that one.
Right.
But I would win a decent amount of money if they win Saturday.
Oh, absolutely.
But
C.J. Beathard, just a FYI, second team all conference.
No one would have. Yeah. No one would have thought that they were going to be this way.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely
I
not.
think I called them at 10 wins when I picked them, Mike.
You did.
So,
you did. You were wrong.
Yeah. I was wrong with my 2 games. but yeah, I mean, no one would have. I had no thought that Iowa could go undefeated.
No, nobody did.
I think I even picked them to lose to Iowa State just because they always struggle with Iowa State.
Yeah, and it was at Iowa State.
Yeah, and it was at Iowa State.
I think it's...
And, you know, they're good.
They are.
You want to say? They're good.
I think the thing that Iowa... I mean, what they're going to have to do in... it'll be interesting to see if Ferentz can adapt to this and Greg Davis can adapt to this. And you know what I've been saying all along, and it drives me nuts, is Iowa gets a lead and they get into the second half and they sit on the ball. So they haven't had to come from behind, and they haven't even been down. I think it's like 6 games or something. They haven't been losing since like Illinois or something like that.
Yeah, Illinois was the last time they were down. Well, I mean, if you look at their score by quarter, you know, this season, Iowa scored 71 points in the first quarter and limited their opponents to 23. In the second quarter, they scored 150, so they doubled it, and allowed the opponents to score 85.
Right.
In the third, 72, their opponent is 39, and then in the fourth, 111, and their opponent is 77.
Yeah.
You know, and that kind of tells you, you know, and that's the thing. That's what they need to do with Michigan State. They need to jump on top right away because you know how they play. Their defense does not allow big plays.
No.
And that's what pisses all these national pundits off because they like the 800 yards by a team and they possess the ball so many times. You know what? That means that's just crappy defense.
Right.
How about I want to coach that sister that says, I don't want the other team to put 600 freaking total yards up on me.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Right.
Well, that's what Iowa is.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to do the over-the-top throw 40 yards like that Tommy Armstrong. You know, like every pass was a Hail Mary.
Oh, yeah. Everything was up for grabs.
Yeah, and I was just sitting there, and I just kind of sat there and, what if I was a Nebraska fan? I would be so pissed at him throwing these footballs just up for grabs. Why not hit that tight end that's crossing 8 yards down the field? Why not hit that running back that's coming out of the backfield?
Absolutely.
Why on 2nd and 9 do you have to throw it 60 yards in double and sometimes triple coverage and just pray that your guy gets it or a pass interference is called? The guy had, 4, 5 interceptions?
4 interceptions.
4 interceptions.
And they were all bad passes.
They were bad passes. Stupid decisions.
Yeah, they were horrible passes.
But those are the teams down south. I don't want, look, it would be awesome if my Hawkeyes could do that, but at the same time, I don't want to risk that amount of turnovers.
No, I don't either. I want to do what Iowa's been doing, except when they get into the third quarter, they could have saved themselves a lot of stress if they would have played through the first possession or two of the fourth quarter before shutting it down. I mean, we've looked at the stats. We've talked about them on here before. Iowa throws the ball half as much in the second half as they do in the first half.
Oh, I agree.
But my problem is, here's my problem with that, is you're going to come to a point where that's when you face a Michigan State where that may, or a Clemson or whoever, where that may not work. So They haven't done it all season. They haven't passed in the last half all season. So when they get to that point, are they going to be comfortable doing it?
Right. And I was yelling at the TV this weekend with the step on their throat.
Yeah.
I kept telling them, step on their throat.
Yeah. And once they got to that, and it happens on defense too, because what happened as soon as the first Canzeri, they let them go right downfield. They didn't blitz. They didn't do anything else. They let them go right downfield. And with this defense, the way it's set up right now, you're going to have to blitz every once in a while because they just don't get to the quarterback very well with just the front four. Look what happened on the Parker Hesse touchdown. They brought a blitzer. They brought two blitzers, actually.
And I think we might see that a little bit more against Michigan State.
I think they have to.
I think they're gonna. But I agree. The reason why they don't blitz is, one, if you do blitz, Nebraska was the first team to blitz on, because that quarterback couldn't think his way out of a plastic bag. Okay? So you could have blitzed on that guy all day. You know, he was probably still thinking about that investigation.
Yeah.
So you could have blitzed on him all day. And then, but Iowa's mentality is player-based defense, or base defense slows them down. Their offense has to follow our defense, and it takes them 5 minutes to march downfield. But the problem with that is so many times you can do that, but eventually a big play is going to happen. And that's where that type of defense kind of burns you a little bit.
Right.
Because if they get that 40, 50, 60-yard touchdown or pass down the field, you're no blitzing and pressuring of the quarterback. Hurts. It hurts.
Absolutely. It's a killer.
You're not taking the time off the clock because that's what you're doing with your defense. You're wanting to take the time off the clock.
Right. Yeah, it's a killer if you can't do that. I mean, that's going to be the big thing. It'll be interesting to see what they don't have any rushers in the top 10 in the league. They've got L.J. Scott, who's got 635 yards. He averages 5.2 yards carry. Their third guy averages Gerald Holmes averages 5 yards a carry, and he's got 8 touchdowns. So, they can run the ball. They just don't run it as much as they throw it. I mean, they throw it. They definitely throw it up for a higher percentage of the time than what Iowa does. Now, I will say too, though, Connor Cook has more incompletions, throws for a lower percentage than what C.J. Beathard does. He throws at only 57%. I believe C.J. Beathard's at 61 or 63%?
Yeah, I'm not as concerned with Connor Cook as I am with their running game.
See, and I'm just the opposite because which
is good for Iowa.
Yeah.
Because you picked them with 6 wins or something like that.
But who scares me? Who scares me is I think I picked them for 8. I think I had them 8-4. I had them winning all 4 of the preseason, and then I had them going 4-4 in conference.
I mean, when you pick them to only win 3 games.
Yeah, 8-4. I had them. Well, I'll tell you who scares me is Aaron Burbridge, wide receiver. He's got 75 catches on the year, 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's the guy who scares me. I don't think that Iowa's gotten lucky a couple times this year with some guys dropping balls. I don't think that Michigan State will do that.
No, I mean, because they play a little bit smarter. I mean, their routes are not they're not like Nebraska, 60 yards down the field. I mean, the routes are smarter. You're looking at the 20 to 25 yards down the field.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, that's where drives like that can scare you, and that's where I think Iowa needs to hit the scoreboard first.
Right.
I think you just hit it first. I think if you win the toss, you elect to receive and score first.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Now, the one thing I will say, though, is when you start looking at Michigan State compared to Iowa, Burbridge has so many of their catches. They only got 3 guys in double-figure catches. That makes it a little bit easier to guard, whereas Iowa's got 5 guys who got double-figure catches. Derek Mitchell's right behind them, and I thought Germanic Smith had more than 6 catches, but I mean, you got Vandenberg who's got 59 catches. That's no slouch. Smith has 25. Krieger-Kobel has 29. Kittle 18. Kanzeri 18. Hillier 13. You got to defend more people with Iowa, or you got to at least worry about more people. You looks like for Michigan State, you have to worry about 3 guys for the most part.
Yeah, look, Iowa spreads the ball around better than anyone else.
Oh yeah.
The tight end talent that they have is tops of the Big Ten. I think running back depth, tops of the Big Ten.
Yep.
And you got a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over, and he plays smart.
And you got a good offensive line.
And you got a good offensive line, and Beathard feels healthy now. Healthier than what he was a couple of weeks ago, I should say. But he's healthy enough now where he can run. Where he can take off and run.
Quarterback. Yeah, you definitely have a more mobile quarterback. That's no doubt.
So, I mean, it's going to be a close game. I can't predict who wins.
No,
I'll try.
The only place I would give, and this is the only reason I that scares me, is I think that Michigan State's defensive line is better than Iowa's defensive line, and they're going to put the ball, or they're going to be able to put pressure on with their front 4 better than Iowa will. And that's the only thing that scares me. And if you put a gun to my head, I would say maybe tilts it towards Michigan State a little bit. But that's the only thing that I can think of.
Yeah, and the good thing is, this is what, again, makes them even, in my eyes, a good defense. To be a good defense up front, you need to have a good running game.
Right.
And that's what Iowa has. And I think with Iowa, I think your success is not going to come running straight up the gut.
No, you have to go to the edge.
You have to run some plays up the gut. You can't just be one-dimensional on your runs. I think they'll find more success. Maybe play to their aggressiveness. I think you'll see a little bit more screens.
Right.
And I think you'll see more pitches to the outside. And pull, because Iowa's got some fast offensive linemen that can get out there under running splits, and you just let them do that. But, with Iowa not passing as much, I think with a good running game, and you can use that as your play action. And again, don't make mistakes. Iowa doesn't make mistakes. That's the good thing. They scared me a little bit. It's Nebraska, they almost fell apart, but
I think what you're going to see from Iowa is you're going to see a couple things that you're going to see some more screens to start the game. You're going to look like, remember, what was it, the Bears against Denver a couple weeks ago, and they threw a lot of screens to start the game to kind of loosen them up a little bit for later. I think that's what you're going to see from Iowa at first. They're going to really try and loosen up their defense and maybe slow down the pass rush a little bit at first. So we'll see if that works. But if I had to guess, I would say we're going to see a couple screens right off the bat, whether they're wide receiver screens, whether they are just running back. Just a running back screen. I like the one they ran last week where they rolled out to their right and threw the ball back to their left to Krieger-Kobel and got 20 on it. But I absolutely anticipate some screens to start the game.
Oh, yeah. Those misdirection plays and those screens are quality run plays.
Mm-hmm.
So I look, it'll be a tough game. And if I'm Michigan State, play within yourself don't go for the home run, Iowa will beat you on big plays. And you have to play within yourself.
Right.
Look, Iowa made Nebraska one-dimensional. Iowa took an Indiana offense and made them play at Iowa's pace.
Right.
If you let Iowa establish that pace, you're going to lose.
Right.
For Michigan State, they have to get pressure. They have to play sound football. Michigan State has to do the basics. They have to block their assignments correctly. They have to tackle. Okay, they struggled in the tackling department. Okay, they let some big plays open up based on poor tackling.
Well, just look at the Nebraska game. I think for Iowa to win, C.J. Beathard is going to have the game of his life, and I think he can, because I think the area where you can attack Michigan State the easiest is their secondary, as long as you get time, because their secondary is definitely the most vulnerable part of their defense, and I think Beathard can do it. He just hasn't been counted on to do it.
Yeah.
The only thing that he doesn't do well is throw the deep ball.
But between now and Saturday, Iowa fans should enjoy this. I mean, just look at it.
Well,
we're seeing something that has never happened to an Iowa football program. They've been around since, 1890 something?
I wrote about it today a little bit. What is the biggest game in Iowa history? The 59 Rose Bowl. Iowa was number 2 in the country. They played California, who was 16 in the Rose Bowl, and LSU was number 1, playing some crappy team. But Iowa still had a chance to win the national championship. The 85 game between Michigan and Iowa, where it was 1-2 at Iowa City, or this week?
Honestly, I would say this week.
I would say that obviously I'm not going to put the 58 one up there because I just don't know. But obviously, that was the one that had a chance to win the close to win a national championship.
Well, they were crowned the national championship
by the
Riders.
Yeah.
That year.
But then you have but can you imagine? I mean, what we see now on Facebook, and I saw it Saturday night right after the game. And it's going to be insane in Iowa. In Iowa, all over Iowa, it's going to be insane Saturday night. It's going to be ridiculous, insane. So,
I took a shot in the dark the other day. You know what? Let me see if I can find some tickets.
Oh shit!
Take a 4-hour drive up there. Screw it. I'll drive home that night. I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, they're several $100.
You see where the Hawk shop is selling out of stuff. This is the biggest game because this puts you. 1, you're still undefeated. 2, you're in the running of a national champion, a true playoff format. Not elected by the presses, not elected by coaches, not elected by, this 2 games will decide the national championship. I think from here on out becomes Iowa's biggest games in their history.
I agree. So if they were, that's what I said, if they were to win this week, can you imagine, I mean, the build up for the next month, it would be insane.
Crazy.
It would be insane. But to go back to 85, I remember it. I remember the hype for that. And that was, and remember, at that point in time, you didn't have social media. You didn't have the internet.
Oh, no, that was crazy.
I mean, the college football world, all their eyes were on that game, which it will be this weekend too. But that was 1-2. That was probably the biggest showcase that we've ever had in Iowa City. That was nuts.
Oh, yeah. And I remember our neighborhood, you know, we had a pretty good neighborhood growing up. Everybody there got along. You know, everybody hung out. We had block parties, all that stuff. So it was a good neighborhood. Everybody got along. And everybody got together for that game. And, you know, I was 12 at the time. So I remember it. And I remember the excitement, and everybody's having the bumper stickers, and the winter hats were Iowa, and the Hayden Fry baseball hat. You know, which I need to go to the store because I want to see if they have one. I'd like to buy one to wear for this weekend, but kind of like that Trump hat, but it was a Hawkeye one.
With the ribbon, or with like the ribbon on it on the front.
Yeah,
yeah,
the little leaf thing that goes. I'd like to get one of those, but. That was, I agree. I mean, that was huge. That was huge in the state of Iowa. But I think as a program as a whole, and the way the NCAA is marketed now, and the way the tournament is set up now, and now you have teams that play, you have 2 games to play for a national championship, and knowing that this game puts you in, I mean, you're playing a team like that, maybe in Alabama, maybe a Clemson, you know, one of those 2 teams. If everything plays out, let's say it all plays out, Alabama wins, Clemson wins, Iowa wins. Those are your 4 teams. Iowa will play Clemson in the Orange Bowl.
Right.
And then we'll be 1 game away from the national championship that will be played 2 weeks later.
I don't know. I think is it a week? I think it's like 10 days or something. Because it's on a Monday night.
Yeah, something like that.
Because that game would be on it's about 10 days. I think that game's on Thursday, and then it would probably be not that next Monday night, but the Monday night afterward.
Because if you look at it, and the reason why I say it, if you look at it, right now for Iowa to win the national championship, obviously they have to win out, right?
Yeah.
So that will put them at 15-0.
15-0.
And then you could say that was probably the greatest Iowa football team ever.
Yes.
Ever.
You start going 15.
And we'll be able to see in our lifetime a national championship.
You start saying 15-0, and you got to start going to some of the best teams ever. Even though Iowa's not going to have – I mean, when you start looking at this roster, you might have some offensive linemen that have good NFL careers. I think a couple of the linebackers might have good NFL careers. I could see Desmond King being an all-pro safety at the NFL. I don't know if he's a corner. I think he's a good corner. I think he's an all-pro safety in the NFL. Beathard might get a cup of coffee in the NFL. None of the wide receivers. I think LaShawn Daniels will be in the NFL. And I think a couple of tight ends. I mean, so you got quite a few guys who are going to be in the NFL. I don't know how many of them are going to be all pros or anything, but I think a lot of this team could end up going to the NFL.
Well, yeah, and then I mean, just think about that: 15-0.
Yeah.
I mean, right now we're in territory that no Hawkeye fan has ever seen.
Oh, it's definitely been a historic season that I think everybody's going to look at and remember fondly down the road. I really think it's going to be. I think that's the way it's going to be. I think it'll be interesting to see how this team is remembered. Going back to '85, is this team better than? Is this team better than the '85 team? Is this team better than? Is this team better? No. I'm saying right now. I'm saying let's say they lose Saturday night. Is it the '85 team lost 3 games? Is this team better than the 2002 team? I mean, to me, the 2002 team had a lot of talent.
I almost have to say yeah because they're just a better all-around team. As a team.
Yeah.
I think you can look back at maybe the 85 team and say they had some of the best individual players on that team.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you look at this one, I mean, this is a true, just an all. I mean, if you look at the Hawkeyes right now, the only weakness that I can see with the Iowa Hawkeyes is when they kick an extra point. That's it.
Yeah, and Kane made second team all conference.
Right. So I would say best all. This has got to be your best all around Hawkeye team. You 12-0. You beat Michigan, or you beat Wisconsin at Wisconsin. You beat Northwestern at Northwestern. You handily beat Northwestern. And then you talk about Nebraska, at home. They're fighting for a bowl game, which it looks like they might get anyway because they just released that, like, 4 under 6-win teams can now qualify, and then they go by academics, and Nebraska is like number 1 or 2 in that list, so they're in a bowl game, but they were fighting for that 6th win.
Yeah.
They didn't want the Hawkeyes to come in there. That was their game. That game was bigger than any bowl game they're going to be in. It was against the Hawkeyes.
Yeah.
You can be that Nebraska team that says, yeah, they're 11-1 because of us.
I would say here's my opinion.
Michigan State was 11-1 because of you. Not Iowa.
Here's my opinion, and this is why I wouldn't compare them with the other two quite yet. And the only reason now, I maybe 0-2, I don't know, but here's the only reason I hesitate yet, and I don't want to sound like Cowherd or Feinbaum or them because they're just totally dismissing Iowa, and I wouldn't do that. I'm just saying let's beat Michigan State first, then I'm going to make those comparisons because you beat Northwestern, you beat Michigan State, who are good top 15 to 16 teams. I want to see you beat a top 5 to top 10 team. Then I'll make that comparison to those other two teams that did that.
But Ronnie Harmon kind of ruined the 85 team for me.
No, I agree, but you still got to go in. They were the number 1 team in the country for several weeks. I mean, they could have, if it wasn't for Ronnie Harmon in that game. But look how many good NFL players came from that team. I would say the same thing. I would say the same thing about the 2002 team. Is the 2002 team really was a top team? I mean, they were good. I mean, they were what, 3 going into 2 or 3 going into the playoffs or going into the Orange Bowl, and they beat Michigan. They beat Penn State. Who were top 10 teams. They ended up. Who did they lose to? Well, they lost to Iowa State.
Right.
They lost to Iowa State.
Yeah.
So I think before I put them up there, I want them. If they beat Michigan State this weekend, they're going right to the top of the list. If they beat Michigan State.
Yeah, I mean, that 85 team would be, okay, obviously the number 2 Michigan. The 2 ranked teams that they played. They played 3 ranked teams that year.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan, Ohio State, UCLA.
Yeah.
They lost to Ohio State and they lost to UCLA.
So they didn't play any other ranked teams?
No.
No kidding.
They played Drake, Northern Illinois, Iowa State, and then they played Michigan State, Wisconsin, Michigan, Northwestern, Ohio State, Illinois, Purdue, Minnesota, and UCLA.
What was the score of the Northwestern game that year?
That was a 49-10.
Yeah, I missed. Well, though this year was pretty good too. I missed those good old-fashioned Northwestern ass whoopings.
Well, yeah, Northwestern and Iowa State were the Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Buccaneers of the 80s. I mean, they beat Iowa State 57-3.
Oh, that's beautiful. I miss those.
Yeah.
I miss those big time. Well,
yeah. I mean, they were always, and honestly, until Kirk Ferentz came in as a coach, Iowa State was just like, okay, let's just talk it up.
Yeah. They beat Friday one time.
Get a little too cocky lately, but look, you guys still suck, and they're still going for a national championship.
Now, the 90 the 2002 team though. They were. Who did they? I think they ended up losing, or no, they didn't. They lost to Iowa State. But they didn't lose. They didn't play Ohio State. That was the year they didn't have to play them.
Well, that year's team was pretty impressive.
Right.
Because when they played Purdue, I mean, get this. You could have argued that the 2002 team might be the best team of all time. Let Iowa win that this year. Because if you look at it, they played, well, I don't know. But they played them. I don't know. It's so tough. Because they played at number 12 Penn State, won 42-35 in overtime, and then they played, their only ranked other team was Michigan. And that was at Michigan. That was a beatdown. That was 34-9, and I think that's what propelled Iowa to start moving up the polls was after that. And then they won out until they played USC at the Orange Bowl, and then they got crushed in that.
What?
So
I'm looking at the only other one that was close was 90 or 90. Where is it? The 91 Rose Bowl team. Where can I find the record? And that was also a very strong team, and I think they went into the bowl game ranked very highly. They were 10-1. 91. They were 10-1. They beat Hawaii to start the year. They lost at Michigan, 24-43. They beat number 13 Illinois 24-21. They won at Ohio State 16-9. So they beat two ranked teams that season.
Well, if you look at the 81 team, they beat number 7 Nebraska 10-7. But then they laid a goose egg at Iowa State 23-12. But then they turned around and beat number 6 UCLA 20-7, beat the number 5 Michigan team. That was their Rose Bowl team.
Yeah.
That was the year. This is probably one of the reasons why we all hate Illinois. They lost to Illinois that year. Actually, they lost back to Minnesota and Illinois that year.
Because they ended up like 8-4, didn't they?
What's that?
Weren't they 8-4 overall?
Yeah. Yeah, because they lost. Yeah, because they lost to Iowa State. Out of conference, they lost to Iowa State, and then, of course, Rose Bowl, Washington.
And
then they lost to Minnesota and Ohio State had lost 2 that year as well. Illinois was 6-3. Gosh, poor Illinois.
You know, let's talk about them for a second, even though we probably don't want to. Let's talk about them for a second. They signed their coach to a 2-year contract. Who the hell's going to go play for them?
Yeah, I don't understand that. If you're going to hire the guy, give him 5 years.
They hired him to fire him. Basically, what they did is they said, you know what, we're going to suck the next couple years anyways, but this is going to put them even further behind because nobody is going to sign on to play there. Nobody any good anyways.
Look at all the openings that are out there. Maybe they did it because they couldn't compete with the amount of openings that were out there.
Well, and I even saw, I think they did it because their athletic department is in such disarray. They don't even have an AD. Right. So it's going to take them a long time to hire an AD, and then it would take the AD a long time. So I think basically what they did was they said, you know what, let's just give this joker a couple-year contract. Let's get the football team out of our hair. We'll go get all of these new, or we'll go get the new AD. I think they got to get a new. I don't know. Do they have to get a new president? I don't know. But let's go get a couple of these things taken care of. Then we'll come back to football in a year or so down the road. It was basically just let's get this done with. Let's get it out of our hair and let's move on to other things because we really don't care about the football program anyway.
Well, yeah, and when you don't have an AD, if you hire an AD, the AD wants their guy in. Well, they get and then the coach is under contract for 5 years, and the AD wants to hire someone else, they don't have to pay that money, when they fire him.
Right.
But the program is a mess, and it's because I think Illinois needed to go out and get an AD. I think they should have went out and got an AD before they even signed cubic, whatever.
Well, and that's what I was saying. But I think it's going to be that would put them in January, February. You can't do that because how are you going to recruit?
Right.
And I think this is what they did. I think they just went, hey, we're going to do this because we have no other options right now.
Yeah, exactly. Because their whole program's messed up.
Right.
I think maybe just looking at it, the 2-year deal is wise for what the shape of the program is in now.
Right.
Money-wise. Because if you sign them to 5 years and then, in January, February, you hire an AD. So now you have this 5-year contract, and the AD says, this is what I envision our football team, and it doesn't involve him.
Well,
then you're screwed.
Basically, what it said or what it does, it gives Cubit 1 year. It really just gives him 1 year to get better. It doesn't give him 2 years. It gives him 1 year to get better. He's got to try and convince a couple of recruits to stay home in Illinois. He's got to tell them, hey, I got 2 years. If I can start getting some recruits in here, there's no way they're going to let me go. I've got a track record at, Toledo or Western Michigan or somewhere. I got a track record. I'm a good coach. I did a good job with this year's team, and he's got 1 year. Because then if they get to this point next year and the team sucked and they got a horrible recruiting class, they'll cut him loose.
Right.
Because then they only have a 1 year. Then they only have 1 year left of 1 year to buy out of it. I think this was the easiest. This was the easiest way for them, and it was the way that said we don't care about the football program, but they didn't want to saddle an AD with a coach for a 5-year contract.
And it might help this guy out too, because if he takes an Illinois team and respect and make them respect. This year they're respectable.
Right.
You got to give them credit.
Absolutely.
He took over 5 days until their first game, something like that.
Yeah.
So.
And what are they? Are they 5-7?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, because they might make the bowl game because I think they're part of that list.
Well, I can't imagine their academics are up there though.
I think it's just for the football, so their football team might be okay.
Well, they don't play football very well. They got to do something better.
Right. But
yeah, 5-7.
So that helped him out for other jobs.
Right.
Out there. Maybe not like an ACC job, maybe not a Power 5, but maybe he can get back to maybe like a Central Michigan type. Stuff like that, get them respectable, so it might help him out. Both parties out, because he's not going to be there when the new AD comes in. Unless Illinois is, next year is what Iowa is this year.
Yeah.
The guy is gone.
I doubt
He's
it.
a lame duck coach for 2 years.
He is. He is. You know what? To me, I don't know. I guess I think about it a little bit differently, maybe than what. To me, I would have told. I think there's a certain amount of pride that you probably have that could have pulled you either way on this. If they came to me with a 2-year contract, part of me says I would have said screw off. Are you kidding me? You're hiring me for 2 years just to park me here and be a caretaker for the football program. You don't care about me, and you don't think I can do the job. Otherwise, you'd give me a 5-year contract. The other part of me would say, hey, I'm a good gosh darn football coach. I know I'm a good football coach. I've now got 2 years to prove it, and they can't get rid of me then after that.
Right.
Those would be the two things that would be pulling me in opposite directions.
I think the biggest one that would pull me away is when you're the interim AD.
Right.
Tweets out on the 2-year deal, and he says, well, it's not ideal, but for now I don't think it will put a dagger in the heart of the program.
Exactly. They don't care.
Well, what kind of crap is that?
Yep.
It's
Isn't that
like,
the dumbest thing you've ever heard?
it's like, what? Why hire the guy then?
Yeah. I don't.
Why hire the guy? And then if I'm the head coach, you know, if I'm Cubit, I'm thinking, wow, thanks, douche, but
yeah,
I think I'm out.
Yeah. To me, it was completely disrespectful. Completely disrespectful.
And that guy will probably not be an AD in the near future because of that comment.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was insane when I read that same thing, and that's what made me think, oh my God, they don't care about this.
Right.
They couldn't care less.
I mean, your interim AD basically does that. Yeah, but let me translate it for you. This is what he said. This sucks. Wasn't my idea, but we got to do what we got to do at this point.
Right.
I don't like the guy, but he's not bringing controversy. This is basically what you said. You know what? Maybe that's what I should start. I should start a section on our website that says the honest truth. What they're really thinking. And this is what the guy was really thinking.
Yeah.
I think he sucks, but we haven't had any crime come our way for the football program. He'll be all right for the next couple of years. Yeah, and I'm probably, after saying that, not going to be an AD for the program in the near future.
The AD sucks, or the football team sucks, so we really don't care about it. The basketball team's down to 4 players. They've lost to 17 mid-major teams so far this season. We got a good baseball team, though. Our government's corrupt. They just fired the police chief in our biggest city for being a schlub. It's going well in Illinois right now.
I don't know. The mayor needs to go, too.
Oh, yeah.
He comes out there and says, I fired the police chief because he's making it more about himself. You're making this more about yourself. Did you see what they did? This will just be quick. But they held that video. They saw that video.
Oh, yeah.
And it was coming out right before the runoff election for the mayor.
And they held it.
And they held it. And he got reelected.
Yeah, he should be gone.
He would not have got reelected if that video was out.
No, he should be gone.
Yeah.
That's one of Obama's boys.
Illinois is just I mean, it's a hole.
Hey, you going to see your guy Trump Saturday?
Yeah.
I am too.
I printed out. All right.
Yeah.
I printed out my ticket.
My only thing is, it's at 2, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I want to go to the field house and watch the game, and I want to make sure I get there in plenty of time because I got there in about an hour and a half, 2 hours the other day before game time, and it was tough getting a seat.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it'll be tough.
That's my only hang up is I want to make sure he starts at 2:00 because Otherwise, I'm not into it.
Yep. I'm going to take my shirt off and I'm going to have red paint on it that says my man moves will vote for Trump.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know what's going on with Illinois. Illinois is just bad, except for you're right, their baseball team is pretty good, but other than that, they're bad at everything.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think their golf team was good too, but I mean, of their major sports team, their baseball or their women's basketball team, you got coaches who are dividing them out by race and everything.
Yeah,
it's just a disaster. It's a disaster.
They had to rip out your sleeve, but yeah, you can play. Yeah, that whole program, and it makes you, and then everybody had questions about parents, and rightfully so. But at least the program is stable. You might have the Pierre Pierces, that are put on Alford more. You have some public intoxication.
The big thing that came against them recently, other than the Pierre Pierce, which was 10 years ago, was Rhabdo.
What, who?
Rhabdo.
Yeah.
That was kind of a black eye, but I think that was more of a freakish thing than anything else.
Yeah, and I agree. From all accounts, it was something new that they were doing, and I think it just backfired a little bit. But at the same time, that strength and conditioning program there, where they take quarterbacks out of high school and make them left tackles, I mean, it's just nuts.
Yeah.
So, but the program is clean. It's a clean program.
Right.
I remember people saying, "Oh, we got another Iowa player that's like Peter Jock. Oh, he's drunk again." Well, these are college kids, and I remember when I was 20, 21.
Yeah, you make mistakes.
I should have got in trouble a few times. I got lucky. And I'm sure there's a lot of other players out there that were in that same situation. They just got lucky.
Right.
So, and that's just not for Iowa. That's all college campuses. So I don't really look at. I think, I'll look at them and say, "Oh, what are you doing? You're stupid. You got a scholarship. You got a free ride." And even though in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, I know you're 19 and this is your first time on your own, and you don't have, your mom or your dad telling you to do your homework. You're trying to act like an adult, but you have a little bit more fun, and you can have more adult fun. It's a new world for you, and stuff like that happens.
Right.
But that's totally different than what Pierre Pierce did. It's totally different in the investigation at Nebraska. That's totally different than someone beating up a woman. All of that is different.
Right.
All of that is different as opposed to just some public intox tickets or, yes, drunk driving is bad.
Kid being kids or something that you should seriously go to jail for.
Right.
There's a difference between the two. A kid, Lawrence Phillip dragging his girlfriend down the steps by her hair, is not kids being kids.
No, that's a criminal. That's just you're totally you're not being kid stupid. You're being
idiot stupid, and you should go to jail. You're being felon
right.
stupid.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
That type of stuff, and that type of stuff was going on in Illinois, and it's not just the students. It's the people in charge of these programs that are allowing, separating things by race and saying, your tibia, it's just crack. You can play, tape it up tighter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, and of course, as a college student, you might sit there and say, well, they know more than me. They've obviously probably seen more. And at that point, especially if the coach is saying that, the trainer might say, I don't recommend it. You know, if the trainer doesn't fight on your behalf, then as a player you look at it and say, okay, then it must not be that big of a deal.
Right.
And I think that's where the trainers, failed in Illinois, where they could have said it.
They should have stood up.
Absolutely not.
They should have stood up. I know that they ran through a couple trainers while he was there, but the trainer should have gone to somebody and said, hey, we can't have this. You guys are opening yourself up for major problems if you continue in this direction.
Yeah, and that's where the AD comes in, and the AD was just as bad.
Right.
So it was a whole system breakdown at that school. I mean, those trainers should go to that blood director and say, hey, look, this guy's got a lacerated kidney. We need to shut him down for 3 weeks and then go from there, see where it's healed. But the head coach is saying, well, the player says he could tolerate the pain.
Right.
But they don't look at the consequences of a lacerated kidney being something more, and then now the kid's life is on the line because you decided to make something worse, and it finally got exposed.
Right.
But and that's with all sports, I think. You look at the NFL and they want to be, they claim they want to be safe. Well, it all has to do with money. And they don't want people suing them anymore, so they come out with these programs. And then you see this quarterback for the Rams who clearly got his bell wrong.
Right.
The guy was woozy getting up. Almost like the kid from Iowa who got up, who looked just horrible. He looked like Ronda Rousey after she got kicked in the face.
Ben Neiman.
Yeah, Neiman. But he had the same way with quarterback for the Rams, and he's still playing. Now, the NFL has a whole program in there that says, okay, we'll have your doctors, your team doctors are there, your team trainers are there, your coaches are there. Someone there had to have seen it.
Right.
And then you have a third party from the NFL that is in the booth looking at the replays.
And he lets him back on the field.
Put him back on the field. He could have buzzed down there and said, that guy's not going back in. He needs to go through the protocol.
It reminded me of Michigan last year. Remember the Michigan quarterback got his bell rung? Like almost on like 2 plays in a row something happened. And not Harbaugh, Hoke threw him back in the game. It was insane.
Yeah. Yeah, but that would make sure if the Big Ten had representatives there or the NCAA had representatives there to be the sale thing. There's supposed to be a sale thing. But here's the thing. Jeff Fisher is on the rules committee. You got a couple committees on the NFL. What I learned about this Jeff Fisher,
I'm with you. I was getting ready to say the same thing.
I think he's a piece of crap.
Yeah. I wanted to like him because he's an ex-Bear.
I hope he was on the 85 Bears,
yeah,
but I think he's crap.
I wanted to like him because of the same exact reason, because he was a Bear. But he's a dirty SOB, I think.
Well, yeah, every team that plays him calls him dirty.
Yeah.
He used to be Shanahan, but it's all this guy. And I remember they used to call him dirty when he was, coaching at the Titans. And he's on a couple committees on the NFL. One is the rules committee. Okay? And for some reason, the guy that's on these committees says his quarterback is back in there. I mean, the guy got up and couldn't break. He stumbled.
Mm-hmm.
How did the third party, several doctors, several coaches not say, get this guy out?
Yeah. It's insane.
And that's the problem with the NFL. You want to preach all this stuff, but when you have a fail-safe that fails, I mean, you gotta be strict on it. He's trying to be strict with disciplining these players for doing illegal activities outside of work. But when it comes to the safety of your players, and then you freaking move the extra point back X amount of yards, which I still don't understand to this day. I think it's stupid. That opens it up for more. And then you try to get it to where on kickoffs that it's just an automatic, kick out of bounds or whatever. Well, teams are starting to kick short and hope that they fumble.
Right.
So that causes more injury. If you want to make it safe, then abandon the kickoff and you just start at the 20.
Yeah, put the ball at the 20, 25-yard line and go.
You're done.
Yeah.
At that. I mean, then play. 20, 80 yards.
Right.
There you go. You get the ball on the 20, you got 80 yards.
Yep.
I understand if you keep the punt because it's fundamental. I mean, you can't.
Because kickoffs are the worst. Kickoffs are
you're
such
altering
violent
the game
collisions.
big time if you get rid of the punt. But after a score or where there's a kickoff that needs to be made, go to that.
The only thing you lose is say, like, if you were the Bears or whatever, and then you lose, like, a Devin Hester's, some of his abilities. But I don't care because I'd like to know what the average kickoff, when the ball's actually returned, I'd like to know how many yards they get on the return. I mean, I'd put that ball at the 20, 25-yard line and say go. Just to save those violent collisions.
Right. I mean, you've got guys. What does everybody look for at the combine? What's their 40 time?
Right.
So you get these big guys, the 300-pounders that are running
bigger, faster, stronger.
5-second 40s, and they're trucking down that field.
Yeah. Bigger, faster,
and
stronger.
then you got rid of. Remember where you could get 3 to 4 players to hold hands to kind of form a wall.
Yes.
They got rid of that. I think that kept things safer that way, more than anything, in my opinion.
Yep. I'll tell you what.
But if you look at return specialists, and you say, okay, who are the all-time greats? They're few and far between. Devin Hester, Deion Sanders, heck, throw in Glenn Milburn, and maybe like a old guy like a Mel Gray or something. Those are few and far between.
No, I agree.
Give me your best running backs, you can rattle off. Give me your best quarterbacks, you can rattle them off. Linebackers, rattle them off. Wide receivers, rattle them off. Kick returners, and few and far between.
Yep.
So just put the ball on the 20. I'm game for that. And then if you need a return specialist on punts, fine. I'm fine with that. Punts have to stay. That's part of the game.
I'll tell you the other thing I'd do too. And this would take a couple years to get this in, and it would go all the way down to Pee Wee football. And it goes for running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks. If you hit somebody with your head down, you get fined, and you get a penalty.
Well, yeah, because no one's teaching them how to lead with their shoulder anymore.
But
it's kind of nice to see recently. I've seen a lot of people now starting to lead with their shoulder. You're seeing some good, solid hits to the body, which is fine.
Right.
It all comes down to the head.
But even I was watching the other day, and I was watching it with a couple of guys, and there was a running back for somebody, and this running back starts to go through the hole. And the first thing he does is put his head down so the crown of his helmet is facing at the hole, which forces the defender to get down and put his head in the same type of position just to get lower. Don't do that. If you do that, you should be fined, and you should get a flag.
Yeah.
That's the quickest way to make this game safe again, is make sure if you're going to tackle somebody, you hit them with your shoulder. If you're going to dive into somebody, if you have to dive, and the only way you can tackle them is to hit them with your helmet, with your head down, then you can't do it.
Yeah. I have bigger opinions with, like, Pee Wee football and stuff like that. I honestly think you don't give the kids tackle football until freshmen.
Oh, I could say absolutely.
People, I hear more controversy on Little League with them teaching kids how to throw a curveball and ruining their arms. I think kids are getting opened up to more concussions because they're playing 3rd, 4th grade level tackle football.
what's going to happen.
Force is force.
Yeah.
At any age.
Right.
And, a third grader is not going to hit as hard as a senior, but hitting another third grader hard at that level can put just as much damage at any other level of football.
Absolutely.
So I think you eliminate tackle football. One, I think that gets the kids to learn a little bit more of the basics of football, getting back to basics.
Well,
and then in ninth grade, you start to teach how they tackle properly.
Well, I think here's my opinion on that. I think yes. I think don't play tackle until you're ninth grade. But I think you can start teaching them at a much younger age of how to tackle. You can go out there and tackle the dummies or the tackling bags and whatever starting in fifth grade, and it's not going to hurt you as long as you teach them the right way to do it. You teach them not to lead with their head. But at the same time, you got to teach those gosh darn running backs that you don't lead with your head when you're trying to bust a tackle. That should be a penalty.
Yeah, we were, when I played, we were always taught never to lead with the head. Never.
And these guys all do it.
They put the fear of God in us at that time. You lead with your head, you can break your neck, and you'll be paralyzed.
Yeah.
You want to do that? And that got at least me to think, oh, I ain't going to lead with my head, because if I hit this guy, it might freaking snap my neck. But I do have to say I did break my arm in football. And then I went on to that tackling dummies.
Nice.
I got my arm caught underneath one, and the full force of my body landed on and snapped it 2 places.
Well.
But those tackling dummies are great tools. I think, you can do that. And I think that's fun for the kids to get out there, and you just teach them how to wrap up, teach them how to take people down, and you can make these tackling dummies almost as real life. Tackle them at the legs, wrap them up, do what you need to do. But I think if you eliminate the tackle aspect of it, sure, I'm sure there's a lot of people that will disagree with me. Oh, that will get rid of the Rising Knights League. That will get rid of the Junior West League. That will get rid of this. Well, let's teach them the basics at flag football.
I agree. And I bet you.
Teach them how to place their hands when they block. Teach them how they set their feet. It's all about footwork. It's all about how you use your hands and your arms and your body. But you're not knocking heads left and right. Yeah, you might crack heads against each other once in a while, but not enough to have that constant abuse to the head.
I'll bet you if we sat down and watched an NFL football game right now, if you institute the rules that we've talked about with you cannot hit with your head, and that goes for offense and defense. You cannot lower your head to get through holes. You can't do any of that stuff because the second you lower your head, you're putting the defensive player at risk because you could crown them, and that makes them have to get lower and do the same thing. I bet you if we looked at game film right now, I bet you there'd be 20 penalties easily you could call. Easy.
I want to see, to be honest with you, I want to see the actual concussion stats, and maybe this is something we can look at. I'll take a look at, but the concussion stats and the concussion rates in rugby.
Oh, it's not going to be nearly as high.
And I wonder if the fact that you're not wearing a helmet.
It absolutely is the case. That's absolutely the case.
Somebody was wearing a leather helmet in tackle football, maybe because it helps protect you when you're, making a catch that high and you're coming to the ground and stuff like that. But I think that eliminates players using their head or their helmet as a tool.
They're using their head as a missile is what they're doing.
Well, yeah, because every time you see a fumble, everybody says, "Oh, look at that! He tackled properly. He placed his head into the runner where he was holding the football and that caused the fumble. Well, he used his head.
Mm-hmm. And the top of his head. There was a game. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you take the helmet away, he's not going to use his head to jar that football out.
And he's going to be better off for it in the long run.
He's going to be better off for it in the long run. He's going to use his hands to try and knock that ball out.
Yeah.
You can still tackle people. You can still block people. You can still do whatever. I don't think they'll outlaw the helmet. You know, at this point, I don't think that the NFL will do that. But if you really want to get safe, those are the things you got to look at. But now I think it's okay. You want to play tackle football. You've hit ninth grade. These are the waivers the parents have to sign. When you get to the NFL or college, you want the scholarship. This is what could happen to you. And present stats. Say 20 years from now, this is what your brain could look like. 50 years from now, this is what it could look like. These are some of the symptoms that can occur. These are some of the symptoms that may occur. These are some of the symptoms that are very rare to occur.
Right.
But lay it all out in front of them and let them, as an adult, make a decision and say, wow, okay, maybe in 30 years, I don't want that brain.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm not going to sign it. I'm going to maybe pay for my own schooling, and I will go into engineering, business, become a doctor, whatever you want.
Well, isn't there a kid with us again?
Yep, I'm here.
Sorry for the technical difficulties. We just have a few minutes left anyways, but
Yep.
Yeah, I think if they instituted the rules that we've talked about and you have to start at such an early age, it would cut down so dramatically on people getting hurt. And people would have such a better lifestyle as they get older. It would change the game. I mean, it really would change the game. But I think it would change it for the better.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things the NFL can do, and I understand they want to keep, their brand and all of that, but, there are steps that you can do from here on out to, one, keep everyone informed, keep everyone aware of the risks of playing. Obviously, not everybody develops a brain problem. Not everybody has these issues, but there's enough to make some noise about it. And I think, keeping it at a minimum at a younger age, as you progress, and lay the facts out on the line. And yeah, I mean, that Wisconsin player, he quit, and that's fine. I have no problem with that because that's his choice.
Right. Hey,
and if he thinks he's better off without football, then I think he's better off without football.
Yeah,
I have no problems with that, and I don't think he should get the stigma. There was a lot of backlash, too.
Oh, yeah.
That needs to go away. Look, he thinks for himself, and he thinks a different path is better for him, then okay, you don't have to play. I will still watch football. I still like football. And for the people that don't want to play, fine.
Right.
Good for you. I commend you for it.
Right.
It's a violent game. It's a violent, fast game.
I concur 100%. Before we go, what do you think of the new Iowa State head coach hire?
Well, I think we had discussed that was the type of hire they would go for.
Yep.
It was a quick hire. You know what? Who knows? He's a young coach. He's had some success. And, for himself personally, I mean, you got to look. I mean, it's a stepping stone, obviously, for him. And if he has just an inkling of success, I mean, taking 3, maybe 4 years in a row for Iowa State to go to a bowl game, you might be very successful. You might start getting some bigger jobs down the road.
Well, and I think that's
Iowa
exactly.
State is a stepping stone, in my opinion.
I don't know that I buy the whole story of a couple years ago that he walked around Iowa State and he called his wife and said, "Oh my gosh, this is the I can see myself coaching here."
Yeah,
I don't know that the atmosphere in Iowa State, except for the fact that he's in Toledo, I don't know what it's like in Toledo, and he played D3 football. I don't know what he's been around to experience atmospheres. So
Toledo is like Davenport.
Right. But I just don't know what the atmosphere. Yeah, exactly. Would it be like going to St. Ambrose tailgate?
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
I don't necessarily. I don't know if I buy that whole thing. I mean, I can see him maybe calling his wife and say, "Oh, it's a nice school," you know. Yeah, I could see them if they came, because I think you start looking at his record and what he's done at Toledo. I think it was probably pretty obvious that he was going to start getting some calls at some point in time. So he may have said, "Oh yeah, I could see us coming here at some point in time." I don't think he went and said, "Oh my God, this is amazing," and blah 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 blah. Because I just don't know that it is amazing there on game day. And if the Iowa State fans may be mad at me, but that's fine.
I went to Iowa State for a buddy of mine that I grew up with. He was in a fraternity out there, and I had a really good time out there, I do have to admit.
Well,
but I don't agree with this statement either.
And you know what?
College coaches are salesmen.
Yeah. And here's the thing, though, too. If it is amazing, if their game day experience is through the roof, good for those fans because their football game isn't making it through the roof.
Right.
Yeah, the football team hasn't been good enough to make the Iowa State fans want to go out and enjoy a long day at Jack Trice Stadium. They just haven't been good enough. But I will say, I think this is a good hire. I think he's a good hire.
Right?
I think he's a young guy who has run a good program. I think I heard him saying, or the AD saying, or something like that, that since his playing days, his teams have been in the postseason from his playing days all the way up to now, whether it be playing or coaching, his teams have been in the postseason every single year. You know, and I was talking to my brother, and he says, well, I hope he gets ready for that streak to stop.
Hold on.
But, I mean, the kids, I think the young guy's a winner. And like I was telling young guy who will go out and he'll recruit hard against the Hawkeyes. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And let's see, if he starts to win a few of them now we're going to start to see maybe the worm turn a little bit. And I'm not talking about Iowa versus Iowa State because I think that's just you know, it is what it is there. Iowa State always looks at it more so than for more of a game than what Iowa does. Now maybe it'll change with this guy. I have no idea. But that's just the way it has been. But if and I'm talking about them being better throughout the season. If they start to get a few of these guys, you never know. And you start looking at his team stats. I mean, their team was first in defense this year, second in offense. They're 9-1 2 years in a row. So I mean, obviously the kid can coach a little bit.
Yeah, look, I think it's a decent hire, but I still think after this, if this guy is successful at Iowa State, and I'm saying Iowa State successful, not University of Iowa successful,
right?
It'll Power 5 conference. I add that to my resume. Granted, it's Iowa State, probably one of the worst Power 5 conference teams out there.
Well, and it's almost like this is going to sound really bad, and we talked about this last week. What is Iowa State? Is it a major job? Our thought was no, it's not a major job. It's more of a mid-major. Well, the nice part is here, you've got a little bit of a major job feel to it.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of a major job feel. Oh, I think Northwestern just beat Virginia Tech in basketball. With the ACC Big Ten Challenge, if it's got let me put it this way, it's got a major job paycheck to it, while still being a little bit of a mid-major. So nobody is going to look at him differently from going from Iowa State to, like you said, North Carolina, someplace in the SEC, someplace in the ACC, someplace in the Big Ten. You know, in 3 years from now, if Kirk Ferentz retires and the guy ends up with a couple 9-win teams at Iowa State, hell, nobody would look at him differently other than Iowa State fans if he went to Iowa.
Right.
Um,
And that's the thing. Iowa State football is well, they haven't been good. Historically, they're historically not good.
right.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a minor, stepping stone, I think, for them.
I think that's why they would have liked it if Rhodes had been successful, because then he would have stayed being a Iowa State guy. I think he would have stayed longer than what this guy will if he's successful.
Right. Hey, look, it's a good clean hire. It's a good clean hire.
Right.
And it's a good resume builder for him.
Absolutely. Well, that's what I say. If he's here 4 years, in the last 2 years he's got 2 9-win teams, 2 8-win teams, something like that. He can write his ticket. I mean, really.
Let's just put it in perspective. Kirk Ferentz has taken Iowa to 12 bowl games. The Iowa State Cyclones have been to 12 bowl games in their history. That should tell you something. So I'm not.
I don't have a whole lot of confidence in it either. I just think as far as the guys that they've hired, I think this guy is going to be – I think he gives them a good shot to at least be a little bit meaningful, at least to be average as opposed to being really bad. I don't expect them to go to 12 bowl games in the next 15 years under this guy, but I think – because I think once he has them doing well, he'll be gone. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind he's going to be gone someplace else if he's successful. So that's my opinion too. But I do think I looking at his resume and hearing him talk a little bit, I do think he's going to do as good a job as you can do at that school. And I think that starts a little bit with next year. I was telling a couple other people, they've got some players coming back. I mean, they got the Warren kid coming back, the quarterback's coming back, they got the wide receiver coming back. What they have on defense, I have no clue. But they got some skill position players coming back that should make them a little bit dangerous at times.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be respectable. But I ain't counting on it too much because it's Iowa State. He'll put a different spin on it. And we'll see how they go from there, but
yeah. So, well, it's been a nice long show with a couple of interruptions. We'll have to edit out for the recording, but we definitely got to talk some Bears next time.
Yeah, we'll talk a little Bears. They're on the cusp. They're close to playoff eligible.
One game back.
Yeah.
One game back.
The surprising Bears.
And I wrote about it a little bit today. If it wasn't for, in my opinion, and I think the coaches have done an amazing job, but if it wasn't for a couple John Fox decisions, one at Detroit for we talk about Iowa shutting it down, for him completely shutting it down in the Detroit game, and then not kicking a field goal against Denver, they got 6 wins.
They could have beat Denver. They
got 7 wins.
Denver than New England did.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Interesting. But the biggest news, obviously, is Iowa football. Of course, you got the basketball game tomorrow against Florida State in the ACC Challenge. But Iowa football on Saturday, with the polls coming out, Iowa number 4. All they need to do is win. They win, they're in.
Just win, baby. Just win.
That's it. Well, that should do it for me. This is QCSportsInferno.com presenting ZRadio with Mike Eckerman. I'm Corey Schrader. I've got enough. Visit our website, QCSportsInferno.com, Facebook, QC Sports Inferno. Check us out there. We'll have all the information leading up to the big game Saturday.
Yes, we will.
I'm out.
Peace.